guys, welcome to part whatever of our blind playthrough of Dark Souls 3. We're continuing from the Road of Sacrifices, Crucifixion Woods. We're just gonna run through our equipment real quick. It's been a while, a good couple months since I've played, and I do know where the next place is going to be. I know how to get there, but we have to change up our equipment real quick because the last life we fought the Black Knight and died. So my equipment's all set up to fight him, and we're not going to fight him again for a while. So moving on through this little archway. There's a mage up top, and that guy who summons enemies. Rolling real quick. I am doing this post commentary because recording and stuff. However, as we continue, I am much farther ahead than what you're seeing because this gameplay is all from a couple days ago, and I've gotten much farther in the game. I won't say how far, but I will talk about things as we get up to them. Such as, this guy's not coming with us because our intelligence isn't high enough, and it won't be, because we're not doing an int build, we're doing a face build. So we're just looking around, scouting out the area, seeing what's around, and failing lightning spears a lot. Get some nice fall damage on him though, hit him a couple times, surprisingly. And it's kind of sad that the Great Club's taking more than one hit to kill these guys. We're going to play very conservative as we go through because we don't really know what's going on, so shield's always going to be up, trying to survive, using as little Estus as possible, saving it for the big fights. Just don't think by the time I just used it just now. It doesn't count. Backstabs are destructive, as ever, with the Great Club. And now, right here, there's a cut, because I'm only recording 15-minute segments, and I'm trying to cut down on something going off in the middle of a fight. So, there's a lot of cuts in between each segment that will be fairly obvious, but at the same time, hopefully not too obvious or distracting. And I've done fades to try and cover it. Now this boss is a bit tricky. Now over here, right about this time, there's multiple clones of him, and they can all attack you, and they all do damage pretty evenly. And I didn't really realize it until the next fight, that you can tell them apart by the color of their magic. All the clones will have blue magic, while the real boss will have purplish pink. So that's how you can tell them apart and quickly get to that boss and take him out. So now we gotta run all the way back, and while we're running back, you really could just do what we're doing here and run past everything, because it's kind of the way Dark Souls is. Everything's set up so that it can kill you, but it's also not difficult to just run past everything for whatever reason. So, back to the fight. Gonna grab our souls. All 1,000. And he's teleporting away a lot faster than he did last time. As you can see, we have our guard up just in case. And we're two-handing our Great Club to get most damage out as possible. Gonna try a War Cry to get more damage out. And about here is where I realized their magic was different. As I saw the purple hit me, I realized that the blue was the clones. And luckily those two were stuck together before, so we took out all of them already. Now we're just gonna go run for the actual boss. I'm gonna start a War Cry, get as much damage as possible, and then go in, try and take him out. We're a good, 1 or 2 hits away from killing him. And now that we know the secret, just look for the purple. Avoiding everything else, going straight in for the kill. Which is probably unadvisable, unless he's that low. Now as you see, we got Sword of Crystal Sage. And we're going up here just to see what's around. It's nothing, but had to check it out anyways. And bonfire from the boss's death. Checking how many souls we need to level up. Haven't hit it yet. And now we're gonna go forward, continuing onto the Cathedral of the Deep. And we see a Crystal Lizard over there. Guys with cages and another Crystal Lizard. So we get a dropping attack, and we get a Twink. Twinkling Titanites. And this second Crystal Lizard also drops a Twinkling Titanite. Thought he wasn't dead there. And debating what this guy means, wondering if there's something actually down there, but checking it out, I assumed it was death, and finished out with thinking it was definitely death. And we try to take out this Evangelist with lightning spears, but we do next to no damage. Incredibly low damage from lightning spears. I don't know if it's because our faith is so low, or because of our talisman, but the hope is that eventually we will be able to do a good chunk of damage with our lightning spears. Since this is a faith strength build, I wanted to make use of lightning spears. Let me get the Herald set. Starting gear if you're a Herald, but if you're not, this is where you get it. And then to our left is a bonfire. Very close to the other bonfire. And then down this path is an NPC who is hostile. I believe he has a curved sword and a dagger, or a straight sword and a dagger. And be careful, don't get guard broken. He'll riposte you. Yeah, he's got a straight sword and a bandit knife, it looks like. Can't tell which straight sword it is, probably a long sword. We get him with our special attack there. And finish him off with another R2. And he drops quite a bit of souls. And he's guarding the Paladin's ashes. Paladin's ashes. which we can hand into the Shrine Handmaiden to get new materials to purchase. And as I'm excited about it, we're gonna go see if we can level up and hand in these ashes. Leaving in the loading screens just to look at item descriptions, since we don't really get everything, and it's nice to see the things that we're not going to see. So we give her the ash.
Gracious. Passing.
Listen to her dialogue for no reason, skipping the rest. And I think we got some more embers. Not entirely sure. We got the dual charms and the undead hunter charms. Titanite shards we already had. We got the canvas talisman. And we got the crescent axe. And I think we got the Morning Star. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm putting it down as that because it's a thing. Sage's hat, who is related to Big Hat Logan apparently. At least I'd like to think they are. And I'm going to move this screen over a bit so I can read what these things say. The Lloyd's Shield Ring, which boosts damage absorption when HP is full. And we sent Greyrout out, looking to see if he came back. And then we're gonna go take the boss's soul up to Ludleth. And completely miss. I'm gonna just walk over there this time. And with his soul we can make Crystal Hail, which is basically that sorcery from Dark Souls 2. And Crystal Sage's Rapier, which I believe increases magic damage and item discovery, which I decide to go ahead and get just in case we want to do some farming, as it's a very good thing to have, I guess, for that purpose. And Crystal Hail resembles Soul Shower. That's the spell from Dark Souls 2. And going to check before we buy that to see how many souls we get for the Sage's Soul, which is a measly 3,000. Nothing compared to what we could be getting, or what we need to level up. So, I believe it's much better spent just increasing our item discovery. Now, I'm also checking to make sure we're doing as much damage as possible, going through all our weapons, since it has been a good 2 months since I've played. And now we're going to go see Irina. And I think I'm going to purchase Tears of the Denial, which, spoiler, I forget to use 95% of this run, because what I do is I activate it and then switch it out with Lightning Spear and the heal spell. But since I mainly use the Lightning Spear and heal spell, I forget to switch out 2 Tears of Denial. But, you know, whatever. A death is a death. No great sadness involved. And here we are, just attuning it. And there's the Dragon Slayer's axe, which mentions Creighton the Wanderer from Dark Souls 2. Which is very interesting, considering how little lore from Dark Souls 2 actually carried over. Apart from a few spells, most of it is relating to Dark Souls 1 in appearance and details. And as we see, Tears of the Nile takes up a lot of focus points. Here we are switching back to Lightning Spear and Medium Heal, simply for use further ahead. And as we climb the stairs, we see there is a bandit NPC up further ahead, and a path to the right. I'm going to read the message to see what's up ahead, and it says there's a shield. So, just assuming if we want everything, we're going to follow his advice, but proceed carefully just in case there's an enemy hiding. And there doesn't seem to be. And we grab the Crest Shield, which is good against, I believe, magic and dark. And then we're going to plunge attack this poor NPC. And then hit him with our R2. Dealing only 400 damage, following up with another 275 attack. Finishing off before he can attack us. And we get the Spider Shield, which has seen a massive nerf since Dark Souls 1. Here we are going to rest at the bonfire again, assuming he doesn't respawn, because he's an NPC who drops a unique item. And naturally we're correct. Proceeding back up the staircases. There's a message floating in the sky. So, we just go up there to see it. Weird collisions on the walls, but you know, whatever. Dark Souls. Now we come in here, look around, and there is a dog up ahead. And we go so on the right side, and there's another dog. And my god, dogs. I despise dogs. In Dark Souls. Video games taught me to hate dogs. Or to hit them with fire. But mostly to hate them. And hate fire spears. There are plenty of crossbowmen that shoot flaming bolts in this area. And there's also plenty of dogs. So a very, very good tactic to use here would be fire, because the dogs are weak to fire. And I run away to go heal real quick with my spell, because we take a lot of damage. And then we go around this side because there is a rut in the ground that provides cover, both visually and from arrows. And of course we go the other way first to get that dog's attention, because I'm reckless. And the dog gets lost. Very, very lost. Extremely lost. This dog has no idea where he's going. But now he comes back down here, and he bites us in the face, because my attacks are so slow, but deal such a nice chunk of damage. And as you can see, the crossbowmen are trying to fire at us, but they really can't. And now this dog comes after us, and we luckily hit him before he can attack. Finish running around the sides. Another dog in the distance. But we're going to go around this wall over here. Trying to walk past, but lo and behold, we're going to go back. And just barely nade that guy around the corner with a nice little angle by the Great Club. And the dog comes after us. And crossbows. And we get demolished by crossbow bolts and dog bites. One of the best tactics against the dogs is just block their hits. Free backstab with crossbowmen. And there's nothing over there, so don't even worry about it. Using an Ashen Estus to get our medium heals back. And walking down this alley, making sure there's nothing creeping. And then there's this guy, who blows himself on fire and then lunges at you. Kind of like... There are other exploding suicide enemies in Dark Souls. Ah, the Hollows from Dark Souls 2 is what I was thinking of. Now before we go up there, I wanted to go this way because there are messages and it's a bonfire up ahead. Almost needlessly, but thankfully, so we don't have to go through all those dogs again. Nice room full of all these chairs and a little prayer section, it would seem. Taking a little rest, there's a dual sign on the floor, surprisingly to me. Seeing dual signs this early, and checking these doors that open from the other side, as you would expect. Shortcuts, and the notched whip. Hopefully one day we'll go try out the whips, simply because seen gameplay of them, they look like a very flashy, very fun moveset. But this is a strength build, and also whips are not very optimal for anything. I'm gonna check out this hollow again. And there's this little well over here that looks like it would be important, but it's not, as far as I know. And we get a charge R2 in here, taking out 3 of the hollows. And then finishing off the last one. We're protecting an Estus Shard. Lovely, lovely Estus Shard. And as we see, there's a path down there and a path up here. We choose to go the high route just because it seems safer to me. I don't really know why I went this way. But there's a bunch of shambling undead that crawl out of the ground, but don't seem to be too hostile. And then we're just trying to get through here. Backstab one. Destroy them. And we get trapped. Our horizontal rolling R1 take out the rest, and we're kind of just running around. A little bit lost. Not really taking time to explore this area. Just because there's so many things going on, I don't really want to sit around and wait. We find this bridge with a hollow that has a dog thing coming out of his chest, which looks extremely disgusting and like something from Bloodborne, is what you'd imagine it from. Kind of reminds me of the Man-Beast, except if the Man-Beast came out of your chest instead of just being you. Now up here you can see there's a white birch, which would be a place where the giant would help us in making sure I have a white branch, so that he's our friend. And then there's these guys, the Grave Wardens. Scary, scary enemies. To me at least, using my great club. They dodge extremely quickly. They attack quickly. And they stun. But we take her out with minimal effort. And there should be a cut about here. We're going for a medium heal, making sure no one's got up behind us. And heading up the stairs. We're going to run towards the tree just to get our little help. And then you see there's more dogmen. And a big shiny over here, which means there's something good. And it's a bone shard. Which means not only do we have another Estus flask, it's going to do more now. Which is extra helpful. A couple souls, some repair powder. More dog people who will get blown up by our archer friend. And of course, some young white branches. Now we're just waiting around for him to kill these guys, because I want some free souls. Who doesn't? I guess it's a decent way to get some souls if you're really desperate and don't want to put in any effort. It's a decently horrible way to get souls. Now, I'm already looking for a shortcut back to the bonfire, and this looks like a prime spot. There's an item here, but I'm going to ignore it for now because I figured it might be a trap or some key item that would get me out of this area and ruin my chances of getting to the bonfire. Running down this ladder, go outside, and we're in this swamp area. A little mushy area. Then there's this thing, which by God, it is creepy. Leech monster. be careful getting hit, because once you get hit, he leaves little leech baby spawn on you that will continually bleed you until they're gone. The one way that I found to get rid of them is not rolling, but rather eating a blood red moss clump will disperse them. Otherwise, they will continually bleed you repeatedly. As you can see, I'm waiting for bleed to proc, hoping to go away, but they don't. And so I panic. Something I learned later is that a torch will also achieve the same effect of getting rid of the leeches. Now here is the bonfire room. I'm not going that way though, because I want to find my shortcut. And, you know, hoping I believe there is a shortcut, I attack that wall. Now, pausing it here, you can see there is a crystal lizard, giant crystal lizard thing, in those crystals. But at the time, I didn't see it. Completely ignored it. And I wanted to see down this alley. There was something here, so we go and check it out. And there's more leechmongers. So I avoid that all entirely. Calling it a leechmonger, I have no idea what it's actually called, but it has leeches, and leechmonger just in my head for some reason. Kill this crystal lizard, and get another twinkling titanite for this area. That is 3 in total. Now, standing around for no reason. Might have been another cut. I don't believe there is. Now running up this place, looking at the item, which is a titanite shard. Plenty of titanite shards around this area, as well as twinkling titanite for crystal lizards. And running back down to where we were, looking to see if there is a shortcut back to the bonfire. It would seem this is both a dead end, and there's more leeches down that way, and I don't feel like fighting them, so I have no idea what's down that path, and I do not intend to find out. Using our Ashen Estus to get our focus points back up after using another medium heal, topping off our health, and keeping all 6 of our flasks so far. We climb all the way back up this ladder, and proceed to grab the item on the altar, which is the Curse Ward Great Shield, which resembles the Pursuer's Great Shield. And I ran down because I felt like there was something I was missing, but chose to ignore it. And looking at the shield, it is a great shield. It is extremely heavy, has good defenses, and apparently says it's not good against curses. But what are you gonna do? Names and effects, no real semblance, and there's an item to the side of this building, so don't forget that if you go through here. Another titanite shard, because like I said, plenty of titanite around here. Can't get us through that. Checking our corners for loot or dangerous enemies, because you never know what you're going to find in Dark Souls. Running up these big steps, there's a giant doorway, which I assumed was a boss. So I avoided it naturally. There's an item over here, which I believe are rusted coins. Also good for farming, of which you don't see any in this playthrough because I don't farm unless I need something. And then over in this alley, there's a red bug pellet and some enemies. There's an archer in the window, so watch out for his crossbow bolts. And there's a spearman and his friend who was sitting down and will throw, I believe, Lloyd's talismans at you. So if you get hit, you will not be able to heal. Now I consider fighting this guy who is shooting crossbow bolts at us, but I decide against it, and I get smacked by a flaming dagger. Or no, I do try to attack him, and I fail. So I say, never mind, we're going this way. And now I read this message, so I'm like, what's to the right? Of course, there's an enemy lying in wait to attack you from behind. Yeah, proceeding up this architecture, reminiscent of Honor Londo from Dark Souls 1. running up the rafters. Suicide guy falls to his death. Nothing in this area, apart from a undead thief guy who drops down later. But for some reason we are outside of his aggro range and just stays there, so I ignore him. Large soul of an unknown traveler, and some enemies pop out. And plenty more undead thief people who are here for some reason. I don't really know why they're here. I haven't really looked at the lore, but they're here. And they're as creepy as ever. Taking an Estus for some reason. I don't know why I didn't use my medium heal, but I decided to go for the Estus. And plenty of archers, which gave me a heart attack. I believe there's 3 archers down here who just fire at you, and fire at you, and fire at you. And of course, a spearman guarding them. Oh, the iframes from backstabs. And now that they're down, we go up here, or not, summon time. Let's see what that was. And message, bloodstains, read a message. So there's an ambush. You can see the guy's feet, but I ignore it. And there's 2 of them. You want to watch out for those guys, as there's plenty of them in this area, all hiding on the rooftops and such. And now over here, you can see 3 hollows praying to an evangelist, I assume. And here comes one of them going to suicide and will hit Our Lady for a decent 200 damage, and we get almost destroyed by her spike mace. Topping off with 2 Estus flasks. And trying to avoid the mace as much as possible. Going for the R2, which is just out of range. And you see here, we found her, the end of her aggro. So we're just taking her out there, as that way she will back up whenever she gets a chance. Which gives us time to get some decent attacks in while she's backing up. And there we get our spike mace. And there's a hidden path here, you can jump onto it. I don't do it now, I do it later. But I would recommend doing it now because it lets you get a drop on some of the enemies that would otherwise get a drop on you. And now here we go, up against these hollows. He lights up on fire. And here he throws an Undead Hunter Charm, or a Loy's Talisman at you. So just so you know, they throw them at you. And you don't want to get hit because otherwise you have no way of healing. And we dodged at the last second, getting out of the fire explosion, and kind of denying the use of his Undead Hunter Charm, as we don't need our Estus. Checking to see how this guy died, and seeing plenty of leeches down there. Checking to see if there's places to drop off. Again, looking for shortcuts. This entire section, I am looking for a shortcut desperately. And I will spoil it for you. I do not find one in this area. This is not a shortcut area. And here we get attacked by a thief. And 2 more thieves. Jump out of the sky. And these are the enemies you can get the drop on, if you did it right. And there we go with the R2 taking out the angled guy on the right and the one in front of us. The R2s are very nice for getting little dead angles. Getting our backstab on this guy with his giant axe. Going with medium heal. Topping off before we get any farther. And of course, there's enemies above us, so what do? We wait for them to attack us and then take them out. So there are 2 guys here. He will attack you once you get close to the middle of the room, and then the other one will drop too. Careful that you don't want to run in here as soon as you get here, because otherwise they'll all chase you in here. And that's a lot of little men. Now we run up here, and this is the end of the video. This is where you would drop down and kill those guys prior to getting them killed. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope to see you all next time.